Hey peoples, this is another movie review of the movie Berlin, I Love You. As always, I want to say thank you for listening, I really appreciate it. So, Berlin, I Love You is a movie on Netflix. It's not a Netflix movie, I just watched it there. This is 10 separate stories that take place in Berlin. It feels like more than 10 stories because it feels like the movie drags on for forever, but it is 10 stories. Supposedly, I didn't count. But anyway, this movie is a mess for the most part. And it's a mess because constructually it's all over the place. All of these stories take place in the same world, and that's the problem because some of these stories are grounded in real world and some of them are fantasy. And that's the difficult part. You can't have a story about a talking car and then right next to that have a story about a little boy whose brother's in the hospital sick and a girl over the shelter that he's in brings him home. It doesn't mesh well, it makes no complete sense. And this movie does this multiple times because each of these stories have different writers and different directors. They don't mix well in the same world, so shoving them in the same world doesn't make sense. Also, the time spent with each story is not even at all. Some stories will start and you'll get a minute of these characters, then they'll switch to another story and you'll get like 10 minutes of these characters. It doesn't balance out at all. Some stories don't have a beginning, middle, and end. Some just throw you into the middle and you don't even get a resolution. Some stories start and you see the blossoming of characters in a romance, and then it skips to the end and apparently they're just together. So as a combined world, this makes no sense. But let's say you split up the stories individually and they actually ended and then another story started before it just mixed into the same world. It still wouldn't be good because some of the stories just aren't written well. Some of them actually have a beginning and you get to be introduced to the characters. Some of them just throw you in the middle and they give you a super dramatic scene, but you don't feel the impact because you don't know the story leading up to this moment, okay? You are just thrown into that impactful moment. So the acting might be great, but it means nothing to you. You feel no emotional connection even though the character is being very emotional. But speaking of the acting, it's all over the place. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's wooden. Some people act like they're on a stage play. It's totally all over the place with this movie. So even if you split the movies up, all of them still aren't written well. Also, something I wish the writers would have kept in mind is to keep it simple. Okay, you have a limited amount of time to tell your story, and they will give you information dumps like, oh yeah, my parents died and I had a divorce and all this other stuff that people don't normally have in regular conversation. And it's just thrown at you and you don't know what to do with it. You're like, oh, okay, so that's your story. Doesn't feel natural whatsoever. Does it look good? Yes, because I'm pretty sure this was funded by Berlin and they want Berlin to look nice, and it does look nice. The problem is the writing, and the structure of this movie is just a big mess. I personally wouldn't suggest watching this, but that's all guys. As always, thank you for listening. Please do me a favor, thumbs up, subscribe, heart, retweet, comment, all those things. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow.